You know, we're focusing on the fake pot deaths, but there's more. At the very least, you would think that there are things that we need to know in this country about another drug called an opioid, right? For example, did you know that they're thinking about putting another opioid on the market? Doesn't that sound to you, or wouldn't that be like arguing that we need to come up with new ways to give more money and more arms to the Saudis? Kind of sounds like crazy talk, right? We are going to create another opioid drug to put on the market, knowing what happened the last time we put opioids on the market. Well, guess what? The FDA has just approved a new opioid drug. It's called D-Suvia, and they say they're doing it to help recovering veterans. But by golly, you can't help but think that there's a lot of people out there who are going to ask a lot of questions about this. And here now is the real story out of the drug world today that we also wanted to tell you about. I want to tell you about a drug with the name marijuana attached to it that is literally killing Americans. It's synthetic marijuana, and it's used by people who think it's just another type of marijuana. Well, guess what? It's not. Also, it's used by people who want to get high without it showing up when they take their urine test. That's why it's become popular in those circles. And it seems like, or at least it's starting to also look like, you know what else? It's looking like the kind of drug that's used by people who may very well have a death wish. That's how dangerous this is. RT America's Dan Cohen has this story for us.
It's commonly known as synthetic marijuana. You might have heard it called Spice, K2, or even Scooby-Doo. But synthetic marijuana and actual marijuana are totally different. Synthetic marijuana is a catch-all term for any dry green leaves sprayed with various chemicals. Synthetic marijuana found in the street can be 100 times more potent than either natural marijuana or the original synthetic.
It's like PCP on steroids. You know, I've seen people roll around on the ground, filthy, dirty ground, that people between two trash dumpsters, hollering and screaming.
It's almost like they're experiencing a psychotic episode, you know, to be honest with you. Talking to themselves, having fights, injuring themselves.
Though figures from the American Association of Poison Control Centers show synthetic marijuana use is decreasing, there have been more than 1,700 overdoses so far in 2018, some of them fatal. In a one-week period in July here in Washington, D.C., 244 people overdosed on synthetic marijuana. And in a 24-hour period in September, 5 people died after consuming it. Ironically enough, the whole problem exists because scientists weren't allowed to study actual marijuana. So a professor at Clemson University designed a synthetic version. Adam Eidinger was the first head shop owner in Washington, D.C. to sell synthetic marijuana. He says he first learned about it from members of the military looking to self-medicate with something that wouldn't show up on a urine test.
2 uniformed officers came flying down the stairs into the store and were looking around and immediately asked if we had spice. And we didn't even know what spice was. And then they said K2. And I really don't know what you're talking about. And like, I do remember Googling it and immediately seeing like a package and them saying, that's it.
In 2011, the DEA banned some of the chemicals used to make synthetic marijuana. The following year, President Obama signed the Synthetic Drug Abuse Prevention Act, permanently making the original types of synthetic marijuana illegal. Since then, the market has moved underground, and to skirt drug laws, manufacturers continue to change the drug's molecular structure just enough to be considered a different and legal chemical.
Constantly evolving. We're constantly chasing. It's a game of cat and mouse, of them changing molecular structure, making a new analog, and us trying to schedule it.
And the chemicals have become increasingly dangerous. Hundreds of people in 10 different states were treated for bleeding, and several died after smoking synthetic marijuana made with a blood thinner used in rat poison. Other chemicals like alcohol, acetone, and ammonia led to dozens of overdoses and 3 deaths in Denver, Colorado.
We don't know where it's coming from. We don't know what it is, because if it's most likely not a chemical that's banned, it's most likely a chemical that's still legal.
The DEA sees it differently.
would you want to legalize something just so you could have a way to control the quality of it? Well, it's still the quality of an incredibly toxic, poisonous substance. So to me, that argument doesn't really hold water.
Well, it may work for some. It seems prohibition will never rid the streets of increasingly toxic drugs that are made with an ever-expanding list of available chemicals. Reporting in Washington, Dan Cohen, RT.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.